everybody to the Unapologetic Truth, the channel where we speak the truth and don't apologize for it. Why? Because the truth never apologizes. Alright, today we gonna get to weather warfare, right? Alright, I know a lot of you guys know about Harrp, cloud seeding, what else? Harrp, cloud seeding, and chemtrails and contrails, right? Alright, now first, before we get to this, I want to show you guys the difference between chemtrails and contrails, right? So let's get to it. Alright, now this is chemtrails, right? Now, alright, chemtrails, they always put conspiracy theory, but it's not a conspiracy theory because we see it with our own eyes. When you look up in the sky, you can see it with your own eyes, so it's not a theory, it's a fact. So they should put conspiracy fact, right? But believe that long-lasting condensation trails are chemtrails consisting of chemical and biological agents, which they are, left in the sky by high-flying aircraft sprayed for nefarious purposes and disclosed to the general public, right? Alright, now it also says while normal contrails dissipate, which means disappear, relatively quickly, contrails that linger must contain additional substances. Those who subscribe to the theory, well, fact, speculate, it's not speculation, that the purpose of the chemical release may be solar radiation management, weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, biological or chemical warfare, or testing of biological or chemical agents on a population, that the trails are causing respiratory illnesses and other health problems, right? Okay, now let's look up and see what contrails is. What contrails actually are. They gave you a brief description, but they didn't give you the whole thing, right? Alright, contrails, vapor trails, are line-shaped clouds produced by aircraft engine exhaust or changes in air pressure, typically at aircraft cruising altitude several miles above the Earth's surface. Contrails are composed primarily of water in the form of ice crystals. So that's contrail. Contrails, in layman's terms, basically is the vapor that comes from the airplane as it flies through the sky. When a lot of people see the little trail and they're like, oh, a plane must have went past. Those are contrails, but those dissipate quickly, which means disappear quickly, right? But chemtrails stay in the sky for a longer extended period of time. Alright, now, since we got that out the way, let's go ahead and get to this first clip. I need you to listen to this guy, because he's at the meeting, right? He's at the meeting, and he's telling these people about themselves. So let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilized it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn it.
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the Senator's own statement. So yes, I have to do stand on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now we see that even the senator comes out and said it was the greatest, which is not, weapon that was created of all time. Right? So, this thing is created to kill a mass load of people. Firstly, it's created to diminish the population of the earth. Second, it was created for warfare. Not only the United States has this, but other places like China, Russia, Israel, the UAE, what else? Egypt, and there's different places that has this type of technology, right? So we understand, the ones who are awakened, that this technology is not good for humanity, period. Alright, let's see what else it had to say. A U.S. federal document that describes chemtrails as an exotic weapon. This is what the federal document states. You can look this up yourself. This is something that you need to research on your own to get an in-depth understanding of what this machine and cloud seeding can do. And bans their use against populations. Right? But there's more. Watch this. It also bans the use of electromagnetic and plasma devices, Harp, against the citizens of the earth. But there are two glaring problems with HR 2977. Let's find out what these two problems are. The term space means all space extending upward from an altitude of greater than 60 kilometers above the surface of the earth. And the Act, H.R. 2977, does not prohibit the use of such weapons for defense purposes. Hence, weather warfare. Destruction of a target population on the earth. Any other acknowledged or as yet undeveloped means. Listen to the words. Chemtrails are released at an altitude of less than 60 kilometers to begin with, so HR 2977 does not apply. Watch this. And Harp's activities can be justified as being for defense purposes. It could be used internationally or domestically. International warfare or domestic warfare. HR 2977 serves as a fairly good illusion without closer inspection and independent logical thinking. You must learn and know the difference between contrails and chemtrails. I told you the difference. Remember, contrails is the water vapors that come from the plane and it dissipates quickly. Chemtrails are chemicals that has been dispersed in the clouds, and it forms clouds. It forms different types of clouds, and it does not dissipate easily or quickly. It lingers for a very long time. These right here are chemtrails. This is how they look. I know when you look up in the sky and you saw these before, and you probably thought it was contrails, but actually they are chemtrails. I know you've seen these formations before. Those are what you call chemtrails, and I know you've seen them up in the sky for a very long time because they don't dissipate easily or quickly. The next time you see an odd unmarked plane spraying 350 kilometers long contrail grids that do not dissipate normally, know that it is one of these trails that officially don't exist, although officially they're classed as weapons. And people think that I'm crazy that I speak about these type of things, but there are proof. There is proof everywhere. All you have to do is research yourself. Alright, so now we know that they do that. Now let's get to another thing here. What is cloud seeding? Well, let's find out what cloud seeding is.
In the blazing sunshine at the UAE's Desert Al Ain airport, a twin-propeller Beechcraft
Remember,
equipped with so
I said America is not the only place that has these type of technologies. This is the UAE. Let's see what they do.
salt flares stands ready to fly into the storm at a moment's notice. Its objective, to make it rain. Researchers from the NCMS, the National Center of Meteorology and Seismology, are testing a method to make up for the country's water scarcity. They call it cloud seeding.
If we've got a mild updraft, we usually burn 2 flares. If we've got a good updraft, we'll burn 4, sometimes 6 flares into the cloud.
In these images provided by the NCMS, the jet is getting ready to fire the salt flares into promising clouds to increase condensation and trigger a downpour. Water is a precious resource in the UAE, which ranks among the world's top 10 most arid countries. Its annual rainfall stands at 78 millimeters, compared for instance to more than 1,200 millimeters in the United Kingdom.
We're in communication with the operations on the radio, and as soon as there's rain, there's lots of excitement. Especially when it's hitting the ground, we've got rain, we've got good rain in the air.
You need to know the difference between what chemtrails is used for and what cloud seeding is used for. Chemtrails is used in conjunction with Harrp. And cloud seeding is used on its own. It's just to create rain. Harrp and chemtrails are used to create superstorms. Supercell storms are just plain superstorms, which create major apocalyptic floods. They used Harrp in the past. I'm going to give you an example how they used Harrp in the past. Remember Hurricane Katrina. How apocalyptic that was. That didn't happen by chance or by nature. That storm was created. And it was created by Harrp and chemtrails.
Area, we can hear the guys in the office are happy.
To cover its surging water needs driven by rapid economic growth and a large influx of foreigners, the UAE has resorted mainly to desalination. It's the second largest producer of desalinated water in the world after neighboring Saudi Arabia. But NCMS researchers say rain triggered through cloud seeding is a much cheaper and more potent alternative.
In 2010 or 2009, there was a heavy downpour in the United Arab Emirates, and our planes were working at full capacity. If we compare this amount of rain to the water production of a desalination plant, studies have shown that it was the equivalent of 9 years of desalinated water production in a plant like Tawila in Abu Dhabi.
Cloud seeding is still in an experimental phase, with the technique also being tested by the US and China. Additionally, the UAE is looking into methods to preserve the rains that hit the ground. It has around 130 dams and levees with a storage capacity of about 120 million cubic meters. In addition to deciding when the rain falls, the Gulf country now aspires not to waste a single drop.
Now, see, you have to understand this. When using only cloud seeding, they wait until there is a storm in a specific area that they want to target, right? They take the plane up, drop those little containers or whatever it is that they drop inside the clouds of the storm, which will make it a superstorm, which will make it rain longer than it naturally would rain. But technology got better when they came up with Harrp. Alright, now let's get to the next clip. I want to show you something. Now this guy shows you the anomaly that you see when they're using Harrp. Right? He's going to show you the anomaly that you see when using Harrp. Listen to this guy. Well, as soon as the commercial is over, listen to this guy. Alright? Now, if you don't do your own research, you wouldn't understand any of this, or you wouldn't know what's going on when there's a storm that you've never seen before happens. Right? Alright, now let's get to it. Here we go.
Unusual.
Let's start it over.
Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at right there, you just saw it, a very unusual anomaly that's showing up on weather radar above Texas. Don't know if this is actually appearing in this.
This is them using Harrp. This is them heating the ionosphere. This is them heating up the ionosphere. And it shows up when you go watch for the weather. It shows up. When you see an anomaly like this, see, this is a regular clouds. These are regular clouds here. This is not a cloud. These here, up to your top left corner, these are regular clouds. Even right here to your straight down. These by New Mexico. These are by Roswell. These are regular clouds. This isn't a regular cloud. A regular cloud would not come in fully and disappear quickly. You will see them move slowly across the screen until they disappear off the screen. Watch how this pops up strong and quickly dissipate.
In the sky, or if it's just some sort of a digital artifact, but it was on another platform over here at Intellicast. It's since looped off. I wanted to do the video here at windy.com while it was still here. Highly unusual. You don't normally see.
They are moving slowly. They don't disappear.
Anomalies like this on these radar platforms. At least I don't. I watch them quite frequently.
This is how you know.
That is highly unusual. It's almost as if it's detecting some sort of a weird energy in the atmosphere.
In the
right above north central Texas.
Okay? So you guys can keep your eyes on things like this, like windy.com or any other website that shows you the weather in certain areas. Right? Alright, now.